Did you know that some nighttime activities among seniors may increase the risk of prostate cancer? You're not the only person in your 60s, 70s, or 80s who wakes up multiple times during the night to urinate, feels pressure in your lower abdomen, or senses that something isn't quite right down there. I can tell you this because I've spent years listening to men discuss these problems in private. Most prostate problems start with habits rather than age. In this video, we'll discuss 5 specific nighttime mistakes that many seniors make without realizing the harm they're doing. These explanations, which are supported by years of clinical experience, explain why some men continue to struggle with an enlarged prostate even when they believe they are doing everything correctly. They are neither wild theories nor extreme warnings. What irritates me the most, these behaviors frequently seem innocuous. It doesn't seem like a big deal to have a late glass of water, eat a hearty dinner, and ignore the urge to urinate before bed. But over time, these decisions add up to your prostate. They wear down, irritate, and stretch a gland that is already exerting itself to the fullest in your later years. Keep watching this video through to the end because we're going to give you strategies to gently reverse the harm in addition to naming these 5 habits. Letting go of just one of these habits tonight may be the first step toward regaining control, feeling lighter in your pelvis, and sleeping through the night. Let's get started. The first is consuming excessive amounts of water before bed. Late night water consumption is one of the most prevalent behaviors that subtly strains the prostate. It makes sense. Many adults over 60 are advised to drink plenty of water to support their digestion, kidneys, and overall health. However, it becomes an issue if the majority of that water is consumed after dinner, particularly an hour or 2 before bed. It is not just your bladder that must cope with it, but also your prostate. The prostate naturally enlarges as men age. This enlargement makes it more difficult to completely empty the bladder, slows down urine flow, and narrows the urethra. Now picture adding more water to that system in the middle of the night. Your body must repeatedly wake up to deal with that excess fluid rather than getting deep, uninterrupted sleep. The prostate, which is already under pressure, finds it difficult to comply as the bladder fills up and sends signals. You may even believe, I'm just getting older, so of course I'll wake up a few times a night. But in reality, this is a cycle. Too much fluid causes pressure, which in turn causes inflammation. Prostate symptoms such as increased urgency, frequent bathroom visits, and discomfort may worsen over time as a result of this low-grade stress. Walter, an 82-year-old man I once spoke with, drank 2 tall glasses of water before bed in order to avoid swearing. He told me he hadn't slept through the night in more than 10 years, but he also claimed it helped him eliminate toxins overnight. He changed after we spoke. He only took a small sip of water after supper and drank the majority of it earlier in the day, particularly before 6 p.m. after a week. He stopped waking up 4 or 5 times a night and started waking up only once. Of course, you don't have to cut water entirely. Staying hydrated is still crucial. He stated, I thought I had a prostate problem. Turned out I had a timing problem. However, you can give your prostate a break when it needs it most during sleep by rearranging your water intake so that you consume the majority of it before the evening. Go slowly and only take a small sip rather than a full glass if you're feeling thirsty late at night. Let your prostate rest and pay attention to your body. You may be shocked at how a seemingly insignificant thing can alter your morning mood. The second is consuming processed or salty foods after dark. Dinner may be the heaviest meal of the day if you're like many older adults. It may seem innocuous to indulge in some comfort food in the evening, such as canned soup, frozen dinner, or perhaps some deli meat slices. However, these highly processed, high-salt meals subtly create the conditions for a very uncomfortable night for your prostate. What salt does inside your body is the issue, not just the salt itself. You retain more fluid throughout the day when you eat foods high in salt. Eventually, as you sleep, that fluid tries to drain out. This can make you urinate more at night, put more strain on your bladder, and indirectly stress your prostate, which is already straining to keep up. Furthermore, it's not just about how frequently you wake up. It's also about how hard your body must work when you should be sleeping. A high-sodium dinner, particularly one that contains processed foods, keeps your kidneys and circulatory system working late into the night, preventing your body from falling asleep deeply and restfully. The pelvic region remains tense, swollen, and irritated in men with an enlarged prostate. The outcome, you feel heavier, more exhausted, and more irritated than you did the day before. I recall a 76-year-old man named Glenn who complained of frequent nighttime urination. We talked through his dinners and discovered that he was eating canned chili, TV dinners, and salty snack mixes most evenings, believing them to be quick and simple. He kept saying, "I don't understand it. I don't drink water late. I even go before bed." His body calmed down after he began eating lighter meals that contained less sodium, more lean protein, and fresh vegetables. After 3 nights, he said, "I didn't realize how much tension was building up down there." Salty processed foods alter your body's overall state, which is how your prostate reacts, not just to liquids. They impair circulation, increase blood pressure, and hinder the body's ability to eliminate fluids efficiently. This entails increased pressure around the bladder, irritated prostate, and more bathroom breaks right before bed. Try a softer dinner if you're going to bed with a lot of salt and preservatives. Consider simple meals like grilled fish or chicken, steamed veggies, and perhaps some warm oatmeal or brown rice. Something that makes you feel full without making you feel heavy. Please let me know in the second comment below if you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Let's proceed now. The third is not urinating at night. Many older men feel the urge to go when they wake up in the middle of the night, but they choose not to. Perhaps it's simply easier to turn over and try to get back to sleep, or perhaps they're simply too exhausted. What most people don't know, though, is that suppressing your urge to urinate at night can cause subtle strain on your prostate and bladder that accumulates over time. Your bladder keeps filling and expanding when you fight the urge to urinate. At first glance, this might appear innocuous, but as it grows, the bladder walls get thinner, less elastic, and more irritable. This is where your prostate is impacted. The lower urinary tract experiences increased pressure the longer urine remains. Inside, the prostate is pushed back by that pressure, particularly if it is already enlarged. This may eventually result in increased inflammation, decreased urine flow, and an increased risk of infection. It's a mechanical problem, not just a comfort one. It is more difficult to empty the bladder completely later when it is full. Urine residue fosters the growth of bacteria, which can cause irritation, frequent cravings, and in rare instances, excruciating infections. And that's the last thing you need for an elderly man whose prostate is already sensitive. I once talked to Leonard, who was 81 years old and always waited until morning. "I just don't want to get out of bed unless I absolutely have to," he told me, but he also mentioned that by morning, his lower abdomen frequently felt constricted and that occasionally, even after urinating, he felt as though something was still there, even if it was only once or twice a night. I urged him to just get up and go whenever the urge struck. After a few days, he experienced improved morning flow, less pressure, and fewer after effects. As it happened, he claimed, I was simply ignoring my body's signals about what it needed. There's a reason your body has built-in signals. When it tells you to let go, it's for your health, not just for comfort. Your prostate may become more swollen and inflamed the longer you hold. The more tension you carry, and the more that tension accumulates. Avoiding excessive fluids or salty foods late at night is beneficial because, of course, you don't want to be bouncing up every hour. But don't resist the urge when it strikes. React tactfully. Your prostate will appreciate it if you allow your body to reset. Sleeping on your stomach is number 4 among all the sleeping positions. Although sleeping on your stomach may seem to have the least impact on prostate health, if you're a man over 60 and you frequently lie face down at night, your sleeping position may be quietly and steadily pressing on your pelvis, which is the area your body least needs pressure on. This is the result of sleeping on your stomach. Your lower abdomen, bladder, and the region around your prostate are under constant mild pressure as your body weight shifts forward. Although it may not seem apparent at first, particularly if you have been doing it for years, this position can eventually impair blood flow, raise pelvic tension, and hinder the lower urinary tract's ability to drain properly. Despite being a tiny gland, the prostate is extremely sensitive to congestion and inflammation. Pain, edema, and slowed urine flow can all be caused by even slight variations in pressure, especially if they occur repeatedly throughout the night. Sleeping on your stomach can subtly exacerbate symptoms of an enlarged prostate without you even noticing it. Harold, a 74-year-old man, told me that he had experienced a tightness in his lower abdomen that seemed to appear most mornings. He believed it was digestive, but when we examined his habits, one thing became clear. He always fell asleep with one leg curled up to the side on his stomach. Weeks later, he reported that he had changed his sleeping position to his side with a pillow between his knees, and that I didn't realize how much tension I was holding down there until I let it go. Trying out new sleeping techniques can have a huge impact, but you don't have to push yourself into an uncomfortable position. Sleeping on your side, particularly the left side, enhances circulation to the pelvic region and relieves pressure on your internal organs to lessen downward pressure on the bladder and prostate. Some men also find relief by using a wedge pillow or slightly raising their legs. It's a subtle but significant change. Since you spend 6 to 8 hours every night in that position, even a small change over time can have a significant impact. Think about how you're sleeping if you have lower abdominal pressure, nighttime urgency, or simply don't feel rested in the morning. Your prostate might feel better tomorrow if you make a small change tonight. Please let me know in the 4th comment below if you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Let's go on to number 5, which is to resist the urge to urinate right before bed. It may appear to be a minor matter. For older men, particularly those with an aging or enlarged prostate, ignoring that last urge to urinate you might be surprised to learn how much trouble it can cause. This is the reason urine sits in a partially full bladder for hours after you go to bed. It indirectly affects your prostate by applying steady, mild pressure to the walls of your bladder. This residual pressure eventually turns into inflammation rather than just physical pressure. Your prostate begins to react in ways that aren't always beneficial when it sends a signal to your body that something isn't being handled. The tube that carries urine out, the urethra, is already slightly compressed by the prostate's growth. With age, particularly if your bladder doesn't empty completely, leaving urine sitting overnight fosters irritation, bacterial growth, and even mild swelling. When you eventually do go, the remaining volume turns into a haven for low-level inflammation, which can worsen your everyday comfort the longer it persists. Peter, a 69-year-old man I once spoke with, claimed that he avoided using the restroom before bed just out of habit. He claimed, "I never felt like I had to go that badly, so I just didn't." But as time went on, he noticed that it was more difficult to completely empty in the morning and started to wake up more frequently at night. He noticed significant improvements after he started making it a point to use the restroom before bed every night, regardless of the urge, including fewer disruptions, simpler mornings, and what he called less tension in that area. The problem is that urination is a maintenance process rather than a matter of urgency. The system is reset when you empty your bladder before bed. It allows your body to rest without internal pressure building up overnight, and it gives your prostate a break. Reacting to the urge, no matter how slight, strengthens your body's balance and rhythm. Brush your teeth, wash your face, and go even if it's just a little Liz, a routine that some men find useful. Telling your system, "We're done for the day," is more important than how much. Both your prostate and your sleep will appreciate it. It's a tiny step, but over time, it can support a healthier, more tranquil rhythm in your lower body, less in nighttime urgency, and help reduce swelling. Pam's closing remarks: a lot of men silently accept their prostate issues as a natural part of aging, including the late-night bathroom breaks, the persistent pressure, and the sensation that they never truly empty out. But what if aging wasn't the only cause of some of that discomfort? Could it have been habit? And what if making a few minor adjustments at night could provide the relief your body and prostate have been longing for? We looked at 5 things that many older men do without even realizing it: drinking too much water late at night, eating processed or salty meals, holding in urine, sleeping in positions that put pressure on the pelvis, and skipping the last bathroom break. Although none of these behaviors appear to be harmful, they gradually increase pressure, slow down drainage, and put undue strain on a prostate that is already sensitive. The good news is that your body wants to heal itself, and it doesn't require a drastic change in lifestyle or a miracle supplement. Often, all you need to do is stop doing the things that are hurting it. Give up the routines that make your mornings and nights more difficult. Try giving your prostate the space, rest, and relaxation it has been requesting. Which of these behaviors do you believe you have been engaging in without being aware of it? Tonight, which one will you attempt to alter? Tell us about your experience by leaving a comment. Better sleep, better flow, and a higher standard of living tomorrow could result from even the slightest change. We appreciate you being here with us today. We would be delighted to hear from you. Tell us about one thing you learned today and how you intend to apply it in your life in the comments section below. We value your opinions, so please feel free to express them. We are greatly inspired and encouraged by reading your comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it entertaining and useful. We can keep producing high content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the upcoming video.